Hey guys, welcome to my channel, The Best Things in Life with E. Please help me in celebrating some of what I consider the best things in life. Please watch, like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for all of your support. Hey guys, so here is a quick shot of my ingredients for my steak tacos today. Start off by cutting or slicing a large yellow onion, and when I slice it, I just put it into thin slices, nothing too thick, and I don't want that chopped. I want them into thin slices. Once I'm done slicing the onions, I just place them in a pan or skillet with extra virgin olive oil, and then eventually I will add a tablespoon of minced garlic, and I just pretty much let it cook on medium heat till they are translucent or clear, and that is the minced garlic that I used. So here I have flank steak. I just cut off the fat, and you can use whatever type of steak that you like. I actually prefer this steak compared to the steak that's already pre-sliced into strips. But whenever I slice the steak, I just slice it into thin strips, as you see, and then I'm gonna slice those strips into another thinner piece. And that's just the way my daughter and I like it whenever we do our steak fajitas or steak tacos. And I do use 4 pieces of this steak, and this meal lasted us about 2 days. We got about 2 tacos each, so we had it for lunch, dinner, and then lunch and dinner again. So it's time to season the meat using Tony's seasoning. Season all. Black pepper. Paprika. And then I mix. My hands are clean, of course. And I just mix well, and if I feel like it needs more seasoning, I'll add to it. Here I'm just checking on my onions. As you can see, they're starting to become translucent. They're browning. Everything looks good so far. So I'm just going to stir that around and then continue with my meat. So I'm adding the steak here. and I'm just stirring it around, and I am just going to let it cook on medium heat. I'm adding a little bit more extra virgin olive oil, and that's just for my preference. I didn't want the steak to become too hard. I wanted it to keep its juices. Here I just mixed a pack of regular taco seasoning, and I'm just mixing that and adding it to the steak. Now you can make this with or without the taco seasoning. I made it with, but sometimes I make it without. I just stir it around and then let it simmer on medium heat. So now I'm making the guacamole. It's my homemade guacamole. I start off with slicing an onion, and it's actually going to be diced up into fine pieces. And again, this is going to be my very first time filming myself making this. I've only made it once before, and it's been a while, so excuse any mistakes or mess along the way during the process. So after I dice up the onions, I just put them in a clear bowl. And then I add my next ingredient, which would be guacamole. I'm sorry, avocado. So I got 2 ripe avocados, and I had issues trying to get the first one out, but that little contraption there is really good for really ripe avocados. That avocado in particular wasn't as ripe as I liked, so I had issues trying to get it out. But once I got the second avocado out, it was perfect. I already put it in a bowl, as you could see. And then I have a Roma tomato, just one, and I am just dicing it into small pieces as well. I used the whole tomato and just dice it into small pieces, not as small as the onion, but close enough. And I just add that to the bowl as well. Once everything's in the bowl, I just mash it first with a spoon, and then I eventually find something heavier to mash it with. I eventually used my mashed potato masher, and it worked perfectly. So as you can see, I'm just mashing it all together, and I will mash again later after I add some seasoning. So here I am adding a little bit of seasoning, and it's very light. I'm adding some garlic right there, just a small amount, some seasonal, some Tony's seasoning, as you can see, very small amounts, and black pepper. I mix that all together. I'm also adding paprika, mixing all that together. Here I have some cilantro. I just cut off the ends and make it into a big bunch and chop the cilantro as fine as possible. Here I'm only adding a little bit of the cilantro, but later on I added most of it and then used the rest for the toppings for the tacos. And cilantro is pretty strong in flavor, so if you don't like cilantro, I suggest you just add a little bit and then add to your liking. So again, I'm mixing this back up again, and it's pretty chunky still, so I get my mashed potato smasher and I mash it again. And as you can see, after I taste it and add more seasoning, it gets smoother as you mash, and the more it's mixed, the better it tastes. And of course, if anyone knows anything about avocados or guacamole, it has to be done fresh, and if you don't eat it right away, it's going to become brown and not so great. So we made this batch and we used all of it the same day. So here is the taco meat, the steak. Y'all, it smells amazing and it's really good and flavorful. And it's all done. It's tender, which we like. As far as the tortillas or fajitas, however you want to call them, I just browned some carb balanced wheat fajitas, and as you can see on there, they're keto friendly. They're only 4 net carbs, y'all, per fajita, and only 2, so I only had 8 carbs that whole day. And this is an end result. One is a regular fajita, which is I think 5 carbs, and then the wheat one is 4 net carbs.